Hey guys, welcome to a new week of At Home Fitness with Coach A. It is Monday, July 13th, and this is day number 120. So, without further ado, we are looking at mostly upper body with a little bit of aerobic work today. I'm going to get through this quick. You guys can head out to the garage gym with me, get the demonstrations, and check out the modifications at the very end of the video. So, a couple things, a bunch of little pieces with the warm-up today. Some things that might be confusing. There is 3 little concepts. The second one is going to be 5 rounds of 2 scap push-ups plus 2 full push-ups. So what that's going to look like is scap 1, scap 2, push-up 1, push-up 2, and we're going to do 5 rounds of that. So it's 10 total of each, but in that order: 2, then 2, then 2, then 2. Remember, when you guys are doing the full range of motion push-up, the scap is still moving similar to how it would on the scap push-up, okay? So there's a lot of scapular movement there. The final piece of the warm-up is going to be a bunch of lunges. So 5 rounds, 2 forward lunge, right, left, 2 backwards lunge, right, left. That's going to be right forward, left forward, right forward, left forward, back, 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 times 5, okay? And that's going to get us ready for the workout piece today. So for the strength, we're going 5 rounds, max effort -1 on the body weight bench press. So it's programmed with a barbell. I will get into all the modifications and the goals here. We want it to be heavy, mostly because you guys are going to do push-ups in the workout, so I need there to be a differential there. All right, a full 2-minute rest today on those 5 rounds. So it's not just on the 2s, but a solid 2-minute rest after you finish that set. And I'll explain a little bit further in a second what the max effort -1 actually means. Move on to the workout piece today. It's going to be a 5-piece, 3 rounds, so 15 minutes alternating EMOM. Okay, 4 movements, 1 rest, 5 pieces, 3 times through each one. First one is going to be 20-16 push-ups. Ladies, 16 reps. Gentlemen, 20 reps. The second one is going to be 10 strict toe to bar. Third one is 20 lunge hops. Fourth one is a 200-meter probably sprint. I'm going to talk about our goals there in a sec. And finally, a full minute rest at the end of each round and at the end of the workout.
All right, guys, first piece today is the bench press. We're looking at 5 rounds of a body weight max effort -1. So let's remember here, when we're talking about max effort -1, we're going through, we're doing our reps, we get to that really heavy second to last one, so to speak, where you fight through it and you say to yourself, well, I think I have one more in me, I'm going to go ahead and hit that. That's the one I don't want you to do with this setup. So hit that last one that you know you're going to be able to finish, but not the 50-50 one after that you're pretty sure you're going to finish, but it is up in the air. A couple things. One, right off the bat, safety. It's going to keep us from dropping something on ourselves or having to dump it off to the side. 2, it's going to cause you to have to control your reps a little bit better and get a little better tension in there. The tempo, as it says on this today, is a 2 down versus a 1 up. So what I want you to think of that as is you're going down with the rep twice as long as it's taking you to come back up. Enacting a lot of control, touching the chest, not a pause, but a solid touch, coming back into the concentric part, the push part of the lift, so to speak. And also remember, there is 2 minutes rest. That today is a full 2-minute rest after your round is done. I want you guys to try and be able to maintain the reps as much as possible, so we're going to increase the rest just a little bit there to keep the quality up and to keep the consistency up. Alright guys, let's talk workout. So 15-minute alternating EMOM. We have 4 movements and 1 rest, which means we're only looking at 3 rounds. Part of the reason we're only looking at those 3 rounds is that all of these, or at least 3 of the 4 movements, should be very difficult to complete in that minute. So the reason why we wanted the strength to be heavy today, even if you're doing a weighted push-up, is because we're going to do push-ups now. All right, so 20 for the guys, 16 for the girls, is going to be something that's very challenging to finish in each of those minutes for a lot of people. And I want that to be the case. Second minute is going to be strict toe to bar. All right, so hanging from the bar, like straight, feet coming up, tapping without a kick, without building momentum. So it is all shoulder traction, core work, taking our legs up in the air. Again, 10 reps is going to be something that's challenging to finish in a minute each time, mostly because the movement's long and because most people have to kind of set themselves and stop swinging at the bottom each time. Third minute is going to be those lunge hops. All right, so hopping from one lunge to the next, one hop, one rep. So right, left equals 2. The point there is I want you to go really fast, and I want you to set your legs afire for the run that's going to come after that. The run's going to be 200 meters. Now, has to be done in the minute, technically. So you have a couple seconds. If you lose a little bit of speed here and there afterwards, you're going to have a minute of rest coming that you can utilize for that reason. But the goal should be, even if it's an all-out sprint, to finish in that minute. So we have a couple options here. If you're not able to modify, or if you're not able to finish 200 meters in a minute, let's find something that we can finish pushing really hard in a minute. Even if that's, 30 seconds out, 30 seconds back kind of thing, that's fine. However, you have to shorten it. If you're rowing, if you're biking, obviously we're just straight out working for a minute, like an AMRAP, in which case it takes care of itself. Okay, so again, 15-minute alternating EMOM. First minute is 20-16 push-ups. Second minute is 10 strict toe to bar. Third minute is 20 lunge hops, and the fourth minute is a 200-meter run, or a minute run, let's call it, before a final minute rest, 3 times through each piece.
Stay tuned for movement modifications.
Alright guys, let's talk something that's probably pretty common for pretty much everybody watching these videos. How do I modify my bench press? I don't have a bench and a bar and enough weights to get the body weight, or a couple of those things. So a couple different things we can do here. We can obviously take the bar or any of the weights down to the ground and do a floor press. Alright, a little easier to get heavy on that. Might be challenging to get the weight, even if you have the weight to something that's pretty heavy, unless you have some J hooks you can set it on, or some plates you can pick it up off on into the position there. With the dumbbells, obviously at the bench we have the same thing here. Whatever dumbbells we have, that's what we're going to use, right? If we're looking at unbroken, we're looking at max effort -1. So ideally we have something to eat that adds up to around body weight, or close to a body weight equivalent with dumbbells or kettlebells. But if that's not the case, we can still get our work in. If we don't have a bench, but you guys do have a roller, this one specifically is a grid roller. Ideally, it would be the one that's twice as long as this, but I can demonstrate for you guys what I'm talking about here with this one. So, in a perfect world today, we're looking at getting extra range of motion in the bench press as opposed to the floor press. One of the ways we could use that, if this was a longer roller, would be a little more comfortable, but using it as a bench, using it as a mechanism to hold our shoulders back together in a good position, and doing our lift that way. If we're looking at a band or just generally push-ups, I want you guys to try and make the push-ups heavy, if that's possible. So if that includes adding plates to our back, if that includes adding a band, whatever it is, let's try and make them a little bit more challenging than normal, especially if we are very competent at push-ups. Now, one of the things I've been noticing lately with the videos that I've been seeing people working out is that we tend to avoid range of motion in the push-up because of where our chin and nose are. So I don't know if you guys can see the ground. There is a little drop here in between the 2 lifting platforms. I'm going to use that as a space where my head's going to go down, so I can work on getting full range of motion on my upper body, on my arms, my push-ups, without having to worry about needing to dodge the floor with my face. Okay, so whether it's that, whether your hands are up on plates, whether it may be even if your feet are slightly elevated, Therefore, you can go a little bit further down towards your hands before your nose actually gets to the ground. That's fine, okay? But let's try and keep two things. One is a increased range of motion versus the floor press where everything's kind of flat on the same plane there. And let's try and make these as heavy as we can, especially if we are really good at push-ups already. Let's try and weight the push-ups and make those a little bit tougher. All right, we're looking at modifying stuff for the workout. So for the total bar, pretty simple. We're looking at a V up on the ground. We're looking at a hanging knee raise, a hanging leg raise, something that is going to be strength as opposed to skill. Skill meaning the ability to control movement by utilizing momentum and controlling your body. Strength meaning moving something physically, activity-wise, closing joints, right? Something that is being functionally moved without the aid of momentum. Straight leg sit-ups on the ground. It can be an ab mat sit-up if that's where we need to be, in which case let's maybe increase those reps a little bit. It shouldn't be a super easy minute. And then we talked about the difference in the cardio components, whether it's a row, a machine of some kind. It's basically going to be a minute AMRAP, okay? Lunge steps, or the lunge hops, if they need to go to lunge steps, that's fine. Remember, when we're evaluating lunge steps, the easiest lunge is the reverse lunge. The next easiest lunge is the walking lunge. And finally, you have the lunge and push back on the difficulty spectrum.